What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Time Game Day live show here. It is NFL Week 4. John Impemba here with Britt, Flynn. Britt, we have some Sunday morning football to kick us off here today. How we doing?
I'm good. And there's so much news already coming in, like the Chase Claypool being a healthy scratch, the Aiden O'Connell getting the start over Brian Hoyer. I mean, just so much chaos already so early in the morning. And I am stoked. And I don't know about you, but the Toy Story broadcast on Disney Plus, I'm going to have to check that out as a millennial child.
Yeah, I'm very curious. We've seen the Nickelodeon games, obviously, and how they've handled that over the years. And yeah, the Toy Story one will certainly be pretty interesting. Our chat is already loaded for those of you who are coming in here and you want to get some questions answered. Throw them in our chat right now. Of course, we have that 9:30 a.m. kickoff, so I see a lot of these questions in chat, some of them pertaining to that game. Obviously, we're going to be here to answer your start-sit questions throughout the next hour. We're going to give you all the breaking news and analysis that comes out. Like you mentioned, Claypool can't really be surprised that he's going to be benched at this point, given his either lack of effort and then vocal displeasure with the way the offense has been moving. And then, of course, the Jimmy Garoppolo news. We're all wondering, once he got ruled out yesterday, what were they going to do? We got the report that Aiden O'Connell was the one taking the majority of the first team snaps, which makes sense. At this point, we know what Brian Hoyer is. Let him be the backup. Let him basically be a player coach at this point. Let Aiden O'Connell get those reps. And maybe for fantasy, it's better to have someone like Aiden O'Connell at the quarterback position here, especially if you're playing DFS, to give some more life to maybe Devontae Adams or Jacoby Myers in a matchup where before the Jimmy Garoppolo news, those two wide receivers, in terms of our rostership percentages, were expected to be two of the higher rostered wide receivers on the slate in that matchup against the Chargers. You got the Garoppolo news out, their rostership completely dumped. Will be interesting to see if anybody kind of moves back on them now that we have a confirmed starting quarterback here, Britt.
Yeah, I think there is a very big unknown factor with Aiden O'Connell being the quarterback, but I mean, Devontae Adams, I was one of the people who was down on him because Jimmy Garoppolo was his quarterback. He showed us last week that doesn't matter. This guy is going to get it done regardless. So at least we have some clarity and going forward. And it's a pretty decent matchup against the Chargers too.
Yeah. Well, what's your take on Aiden O'Connell? Obviously, you do some of the college football work here for Fantasy Line. Give us a little quick breakdown on what maybe we could expect out of him here today.
I mean, a little bit of, honestly, I don't know in this system.
Sure.
He was not one that stood out to me out of this quarterback class, but he does take care of the football. He does move around in the pocket fairly decently. I think that he's going to be able to get the ball out to Devontae Adams effectively, I guess, especially with Joey Bosa out and not having that constant pressure in his face. But it's going to be interesting to see.
No Derwin James. We know Jackson's out. Like a lot of weaknesses in that secondary and defensive line for the Chargers here today. So it'll be pretty interesting to see again how that offense all plays out. But yeah, Andrew Cooper, shout out to him. He does those Vegas odds versus ADP sort of projections, and despite everybody being down to Devontae Adams, Las Vegas still had him projected for 1,300 yards on his over/under. So he's certainly potentially on pace to hit that there. So more of you guys are starting to roll in here. Again, I'll reiterate, if you want to get your questions answered, throw them in chat. You only need to put them in there once. Britt and I are going to start running them down now to answer those for you to get you set and ready for NFL Week 4. We know we have that 9:30 game, Britt. So let's jump into it here. Rob with the first question. James Cook, Josh Palmer, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Jerome Ford. He needs 2 of the group here today.
Oh, I think I'm going James Cook and Cortland Sutton, to be honest. James Cook has had a very fantastic past couple of weeks. Miami's defense has been pretty decent, but against the run, especially receptions allowed to the running back, they've been a little bit weak on. I think that Buffalo is going to basically use the run game so that they can manage the time of possession and keep the ball out of Miami's hands. So I really like his touches today. And then Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton has been Russell Wilson's go-to. This is a very plus matchup against a very, very bad Chicago defense. I mentioned it on Thursday night. This game is going to be sloppy. It's going to be gross. But for fantasy purposes, this is going to be juicy. And Cortland Sutton is the guy.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you. It feels like the sports betting world is more in on the running game for Denver today. They like Javonte Williams, and some of the passing numbers are seem a little bit off to me. But I'm just gonna be more bullish, I think, on that passing offense as well. There's Chicago's obviously shown nothing to me to think that they can stop the pass. And while I have a lot of Javonte Williams shares, and I hope he has a good day today, I could easily see both finding a lot of success here as well. So Rob's got a follow-up question here and pertaining to that early game. London or Woods today?
Oh, I don't have a lot of faith in Drake London, but I'm still going him. Laramie Tunsil being out for Houston is going to be huge for that passing game. I think that there's going to be a ton of pressure put on CJ Stroud, and I don't necessarily know that he can get the ball out. Drake London, I feel that Jacksonville is going to put some pressure on Atlanta. They're going to keep it close, and Atlanta's going to have to throw a little bit more than they have in the past. I know last week they threw it 38 times, which is completely counterintuitive to their basic game plan in general, but I think London has a good day today.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with going London here as well. I think that they're not going to be able to. Well, I hope they're not going to be able to. We've seen Jacksonville kind of struggle here a bit lately, but if they go out ahead, they're not going to be able to run the ball forever. Nicola here wants to know full PPR 2 running back 2 flex Sanders, Harris, Connor, Roshan, Ayuk, or Tank Dell needs 2 and 2.
Oh, have we heard if Ayuk is even playing?
I heard that they were encouraged by him. So I do think that he's going to suit up. Deebo Samuel, after not practicing all week, also apparently is potentially going to play today as well. No Eli Mitchell, I thought was a little surprising. So CMC's backup, not expected to play today. But thoughts here on the group?
Yeah, I'm going to go Sanders and Harris. I know that Connor completely destroyed Dallas's defense last week, but a lot of those were outside runs and not through the middle. San Francisco's defense isn't going to be as easily fooled. And then I'm going to go Ayuk and Dell.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go as well. Again, Tank Dell really coming on of late, so I like the upside even against Pittsburgh there. She's got a couple more follow-up questions here as well. Or did she read this? Another same situation, different players, I guess. We got Sanders, Harris, White, Roshan, Flowers, Pickens, Sutton, and Dell here. So I guess we're adding Flowers to this group, taking out Connor. So,
yeah, I'm still going Sanders and Harris for the running backs, and then I think that I'm going to go Sutton and Dell on this rotation.
And then final question from her here: 2 running backs in a flex: Sanders, Harris, White, Flowers, Sutton, and A-Chain.
Ooh, this one's a little bit more juicy. Still Sanders and Harris as far as running backs go. I am tempted to play A-Chan because of all the news saying that he's going to get more work. He's going to be more incorporated. But I think that game is going to focus a little bit more, at least on Miami's side, through the air. So I'm still going Sutton here.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I like Sutton in that play. Well, again, and they can say all the things they want about A-Chain. I'll like to see it first before trusting that ends up being the case. Coach speak has been the devil more often than not.
Yes.
Ridley, Najee, or DK in a flex and a half PPR.
Oh, man. I know that everyone is so on Ridley because of the revenge game, but Atlanta's secondary has actually been pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I think that I'm going to go Najee, and not just because this is like the only plus matchup that he has and has had. I just think there's something in my gut is telling me Najee. Can't explain it more.
Yeah, that's
but
fine,
I'm using the he's due narrative.
Listen, I talked up a lot. He was in my either my contrarian corner video. No, he's in my value video this week. I think it was. The way you beat Houston's on the ground, and teams just will almost forget they have a passing game to run on Houston at will here. So if Najee Harris doesn't get it done this week, it may be his last opportunity to really hold on to this job. But he got 19 carries last week. If he gets 19 carries this week against Houston, I think he'll find a lot more success. I like that call there. Ethan wants to know half PPR needs to sit one. Kirk, Madison, White, Dell, or A-Chain?
I'm sitting White. White has shown me nothing. New Orleans defense is actually pretty good as well. Just don't trust him.
Yeah. Listen, I love that he's getting the 100% of the work. Like no Tucker's not bumping into him at all, but The efficiency is just not not there despite the volume.
Oh, it's horrible.
Kevin wants to know Charbonnet or P. Ryan today. Ugh.
Oh, let's go Charbonnet. Charbonnet's actual usage and his rushing over expectation was better than Kenneth Walker's against the Giants. I think that he's going to be the guy that gets it done. He's definitely going to have more upside than P. Ryan, I think.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Again, we're expecting to see Javonte Williams kind of take over in this one here, so I do like that. Guy Dan, I'm not playing you this week. I'm playing Coop, so that's fine. Need 2 running backs today for PPR: Javonte Moss, Connor, or Kelly, and is keeping Puka in the flex over these. I'm definitely playing Puka Nacua this week against the Colts. Thoughts on the 2 RBs here, Britt?
Yeah, I think you've already mentioned it. Javonte Williams is supposed to have a monster game against the Bears, so I'm starting him. Then I'm also starting Zach Moss. Worries me a little because their starting center is out, but I still think that he's the only guy in that backfield, right?
Yeah.
So just volume alone, he's going to get it done. Again, Connor against the 49ers, not very excited about that. And then Joshua Kelly is a big for me.
Yeah, I'm not. we went to the Joshua Kelly experience last week, and I do sometimes subscribe to like when the chalk lets everybody down. Go back to them this week in a DFS perspective. Sometimes nobody will be playing them because they feel the burn from last week. But yeah, I'm not gonna give him a go. I didn't think he was a very good running back to begin with, so I didn't try to add him anywhere when he was available in leagues. Like I just was not expecting it. So. You can probably, thankfully, drop him next week when Eckler is back here. So Robert Stone, Stroud, Mack, or Dak, 6-point passing touchdown. We got 3 QBs to choose from here, Britt.
Oh, this is tough because I don't think that any of these quarterbacks have a great matchup. I think I'm still leaning Dak just because of his rapport with CeeDee Lamb, but I don't feel great about any of it.
I think I'm leading Stroud here, and this could just be the homer hat on me here, but like Christian Gonzalez has actually been a very, very good corner this year. PFF has graded him out highly. He's been one-on-one with each team's number 1 wide receiver. Patriots kind of shut down Tyreek Hill there. He scored on a coverage that wasn't even on Gonzalez. So I think Gonzalez is going to be put on CeeDee Lamb here today. Obviously, super tough test for any rookie cornerback, but I mean, first round grade. Some people were surprised he fell to where he did in that draft. I worry a little bit about Dak going up against the Patriots defense here. I'm going to lead Stroud. I think he throws the ball like 40 times today. They just the way that often. Pierce isn't going to be able to run on Pittsburgh, so that's where I'm going. Sorry, Stone. We're on a little bit opposite sides in that one. Another question from Robert. Need 2 Cooper, Ayuk, or Tank Dell in a PPR here.
I think I'm still leaning Ayuk and Tank Dell. I really like Cooper, but that game,
Deshaun hasn't thrown all week. That's my worry.
Right. And that game also, the over-under was already the lowest of the entire slate. And now that Deshaun Watson is questionable, it is sunk to the bottom of the ocean. So I don't really want to play any players on either side of that game.
No, listen, I have the Baltimore defense in lineups here today. I liked Baltimore's defense before all the Deshaun Watson stuff came out, and now I like it even more. Man can't throw the football. I don't think Jerome Ford's going to be able to run the football. So, yeah, I'm out there. Chris, what's going on? A couple of questions. Thielen or Flowers today? And then Sanders is expected to play, but Gainwell or Roschon if we think he gets ruled out.
Oh, so Thielen definitely over Flowers, even with Bryce Young back in the lineup. Another classic revenge game narrative going on there today. Sanders, I think he plays, so I wouldn't really worry. I would lean Roschon if he doesn't, though, because of that matchup against the Broncos.
Yeah. Me and Bender are talking a lot about the Bears running attack here. He likes Khalil Herbert in some DFS lineups today. Obviously, that offense just hasn't shown me anything to want to do anything with it, but we know Gainwell at this point is the backup running back. So I think Roschon probably gives you a little bit more life there. So hopefully Sanders plays for you and you don't really have to worry about going in that direction. Coop's drinking early in the morning, so we got him here. getting ready for the 9 a.m. game, getting ready for his XM show at Bender. Follow us, Britt and I, after this. Go to XM Sirius, listen to Bender and Coop over there, breaking down everything we're talking about. Stone says if Sanders is out, he's got Chuba or Breida. Probably Chuba.
You would think that, but against Seattle
for Breida,
yeah. I know that I'm personally starting Breida in one of my lineups.
Sure.
If Saquon is doubtful, which I think that he will be.
Yeah, they already ruled him out, I think, for this week.
Yeah.
Or have said he probably
I know he was doubtful. Yeah. Sure. I'm not going to be much help here. I'm leading Breida.
Yeah, for me, it's I mean, he did score a touchdown last week, so I guess you can go Breida. The PPR is gonna be there for both of them. Daniel Jones probably in a better spot at home against Seattle. I mean, for me, it's just like I see Minnesota on the other side, and I just want like all the exposure to the opposing offense. But Breida's been given. I mean, Chuba Hubbard has been given plenty of opportunities to be a starting running back in this league, and has never done anything to show he's worthy of it. So. It's tough. I think that's a coin flip. I'll lean with Britt here on Breida, though. Take the veteran. Archie wants to know Calvin or Pickens here today.
Oh, yeah, that's tough too. I'm still leaning Ridley. I know that he has sucked recently as a Calvin Ridley truther. But again, we talked about it earlier. We think that the Steelers are going to attack Houston and run the ball and basically forget about the passing game this week. So just by volume alone, I think that Ridley is worthy of the start.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Chris here wants to know, start Jacoby Myers, Rashad White. He's already playing Devontae Adams.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I think you still have to play your best players. White really hasn't shown anything. Yeah. Myers at least has a ton of upside and has scored mega points in previous games. So I think you just have to roll with him because I just don't think White gets anything done.
No, listen, this is the breakdown I've had on Jacoby Myers since the beginning. We've had some people tweet at us asking what to do with the Raiders now that Jimmy G was out. Obviously, our Discord has been full of those questions as well. As long as Josh McDaniels' offense has been in a system, the slot wide receiver has just been fed targets and targets and targets. And now that has not changed. And now he has Jacoby Myers, who's already been in his system and knows his system. And shocker, he's getting fed targets and targets and targets. They run 2 tight ends basically to stay in and help block. And they have 2 wide receivers go out and run routes right now. Keep playing Jacoby Myers, even if Aiden O'Connell's there. If nothing else, Jacoby Myers should be a little security blanket for Aiden O'Connell here today, making his first start there. So Better Boss wants to know, are we going with Fields or Richardson? I know he has been a big proponent of Justin Fields this season. Where are you going here today?
Man, I think, and this feels very gross, I'm still leaning Fields just because of the prime matchup that he's got and the fact that the Colts are missing their starting center. I don't like it. I think it's going to be very close. But if Justin Fields doesn't do something today, then he's a drop. There's nothing more that you can do with Justin Fields if he does not perform today.
They need to make sure that he is able to get out of the pocket. I think they have to roll him out, let him use that mobility here to create plays. If nothing else, for me here, I think that getting him in his mobility will make the defense have to panic almost a little bit, right? Like, oh man, he's out, he's breaking. And that could leave holes for people to get open. DJ Moore can find a soft spot in a gap if Fields is on the move here. So I would love for Fields to show a little life, let him play less robotic and see what happens. I do like Richardson a lot. The field in DFS is getting to Richardson this week as well. Man had 17 fantasy points in like a quarter before he got hit with that concussion. Obviously, he looked really good in week 1 here. So in the Rams defense, I mean, Aaron Donald's great, obviously, but they don't really show me too much here. I think I go Richardson there today just for the safety. I am not trusting. I'd rather see Fields do it on my bench than have him give me another dud on my lineup when at least I know Richardson has been good here. Dan says he doesn't have ESPN. He's about to watch the Toy Story stream on Disney just to keep up. Yeah, listen, certainly can go check it out. They have there's like a bundle. If you have Hulu, you get Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu, all in like a bundle. Dan, I don't know if you got Hulu or not, but check it out. We got that in this household here. Cookin' Mama wants to know PPR, half PPR, Ford or Dell.
Let's go Dell all day. Again, that Ravens-Browns game is just shaping up to be a complete and total dud. And I don't like anybody except the defense.
Itty bitty South City here, 14-team half PPR. Needs 2 running back and a flex of the 30 players listed. So
yeah, that's a lot. Let's just have a little quick commercial break while I read this. I'm definitely going Najee, as we've talked about. I think Achane in this situation is the other guy to roll with. And then I'm going to go DJ Moore. I think for the flex, I, again, don't really trust what's going on in Chicago, but if this doesn't happen this week, then it's never going to happen.
Right. I don't mind that. I think I would maybe go Kyron over Najee, but the rest of that sounds good. I think your player pool today should be split between Kyron, Najee, Achane, and Moore as well. So find 2 running backs there and a flex that you like, and throw them in there. Grande's upset because I missed his comment. I didn't see your comment, but I just found it here. I also missed another comment too, so I'll go back. The Better Bots one, and then we had a bunch of spam in chat here. Said I haven't had enough coffee today. I had plenty of coffee today. I'm on cup number 2 here, sir. And then
I'm jealous of that.
Rob wants to know, concerned about Sanders, would you play Palmer or London over him?
If he doesn't play, I don't think I would play London over him. But if he doesn't play, you've got that out with Palmer. Yeah. So I think you start Sanders and then you've got that out with Palmer. So you're fine.
I agree with you 100% there. Getting the game says football for breakfast. Nothing wrong with that. A little eggs and football. Easy stuff there. And Archie wants to know Kincaid or Njoku.
Oh man, that again, Kincaid doesn't feel great. But that Browns game, plus the fact that Njoku had that accident in his backyard.
Burned his hands and his face. I don't know. I mean, he's obviously okay enough to play, but that's not great.
It's not great. It's not great, especially looking at his target share even before this accident.
Right.
You got to go Kincaid.
And the fact that Deshaun Watson's got a bum shoulder right now, that's not what we're looking for here. Rex wants to know if we talked O'Connell starting it for a Superflex. We haven't discussed him in terms of like whether or not we're start sitting him. What are your other options? If you had Jimmy G and he's your pickup to start in your Superflex, I'm fine starting Aiden O'Connell in a Superflex here today. Again, I think that the Chargers defense is terrible. And O'Connell has 2 really good wide receivers and an offense that, while complex, is also pretty conducive to fantasy production for a quarterback here. McDaniels kind of knows what he's doing. He's a quarterback guy. So I don't mind going O'Connell in a Superflex, but let us know. Who else do you have to play? Make it a little bit easier for us to break that down for you. Kevin wants to know Samuel Sutton or Tank Dell here.
I mean, you've got to go Debo. You've got to start your studs if he plays. Again, it's an iffy situation. I wonder who you have as a backup because it is a later game if he is ruled out. And that's what makes this tricky. I still think that I'm rolling with Debo. I think that he's on track to play. I don't know, John. What do you think?
Yeah. Given the group, I might just go Sutton here. Obviously, Samuel has been pretty elite the last couple of weeks here, and the fact that there is no backup running back for McCaffrey could mean like when they do want to spell McCaffrey, maybe Debo's the one that takes the carry here or two. But I do worry just about that injury and the fact that, they're a big favorite here. So if they go up, they may just say, Debo, take a bench. Like we'll run this game without you. So I'm going to go Sutton, I think, over that group here today.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole wants to know what we're doing with the Sanders thing. We're trusting Sanders with the groin if he plays. If he plays, then we have to trust him, right? Though we've been kind of screwed before with coaches putting these guys on quiet snap counts and not letting us know about it. If he's in, it's a great spot going up against Minnesota. Plus, his target share has been pretty good. If he can get some PPR points for you against Minnesota, I'm in for it. Rex is saying he's playing Carr, and he's got an additional wide receiver. So your QB1 is Carr, and you're going wide receiver in your super flex.
But Carr may not even start.
Yeah, they said they said he's on track to start, but he's going to go through pregame warmups and see how the shoulder is feeling. Again, don't love a quarterback with an AC joint injury. Do like Alvin Kamara's reception prop today. It was set at 2.5. I could see Carr looking to check down a lot in this game here. But what's your wide receiver? Let me know. Who's the wide receiver you're playing over Aiden O'Connell today? See what we're doing. Sellers wants to know, are we doing 4K O'Connell and DFS? I built a lineup 4K O'Connell here that I actually really like. I sent it to Bender. He told me I was being grimy, but I disagree. I think the Aiden O'Connell lineup that I built is actually pretty good. I'll read it off to you, Britt. Let's get an instant reaction here on my Aiden O'Connell for you. We got Aiden O'Connell at the quarterback. We have Christian McCaffrey at the running back. Javonte Williams in at the other running back position. Stephon Diggs, Jalen Waddle, Jacoby Myers, Logan Thomas, Quentin Johnson, and then the Ravens defense.
I don't care if that's grimy. If that's grimy, give it to me. This is great. I think that lineup's great.
Yeah, the only grimy part is I'm starting a 4K quarterback, but I got three top spend up plays in Waddle, Diggs, and McCaffrey in my lineup. We love Javonte Williams this week. I still like Jacoby Myers. Get your little pair there with O'Connell. The whole field is playing Joshua Palmer, so I just pivoted to Quentin Johnson for a little GPP-ness there. I like Baltimore's defense as is, and I did 3 videos this week for DFS and then the Underdog Pick'em video, and Logan Thomas made all 3 videos. Usually I try not to multiply players in the value and the contrarian play, but no one's playing Logan Thomas this week. The Eagles have allowed the 3rd most receptions to tight ends. They rank 32nd in DVOA against the position here. And we've seen pretty much every tight end in Washington this year find some level of success. Week 1, Logan Thomas had 10 fantasy points. Week 2, he had the touchdown and before he got knocked out. And then last week, Turner there had 4 catches on 7 targets. So I'm going with Logan Thomas there at the tight end spot. But Ben Bender was like, oh, grimy. I was like, I don't know. I kind of like it. 4K starting quarterback gets you a lot of fun things here.
I think that's great.
Yeah. All right. So Rex here. See, this is why it's important, and not picking on you, Rex. Give us the entire picture when you're giving us a question so we can figure out the answer for you. So he's got Carr in his Superflex. So would you do Carr or Aiden O'Connell in your Superflex, or a wide receiver today? And again, we'd like to know what the wide receiver is, if you could tell us.
Yeah, I think that matters a lot. Which wide receiver you could put in. I still think, I guess if Carr goes, that you're starting him over O'Connell.
Whoa. We got the thing. You're benching Jalen Waddle this week? No.
No way.
No, Rex, don't bench Jalen Waddle. Play Jalen Waddle in the Superflex then, if that's what you want to do, but do not bench Jalen Waddle.
No.
I would play
the highest over-under of the entire week. Put every single player in that you can.
Yes. I would, yes. Flex Adwell, Dell, or Palmer, benches Waddle in London. I would start. Who would you start Waddle over? Adwell, Dell, or Palmer if you had to pick one?
Probably Dell, to be honest.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking as well. Just a tougher matchup against Pittsburgh here. As much as we liked him last week, his target share his snap count went down to 61%. Still fine, but he was at 80% the week before. So maybe that had a little bit to do with them being ahead. Probably had a little bit to do with them being ahead, but dude, play Waddle in your Superflex then, if that's where you want to go. That's totally fine. But do not bench Jalen Waddle today. That would be a mistake. Dan wants to know Freiermuth or Ertz. A lot of people like Freiermuth here.
I like Freiermuth, I think. Again, he's that guy who gets the 2-minute drill and the red zone work. We've already seen it again this season happening. I think he's the better play today.
Yeah, Freiermuth's where I'm going here as well. I'm not going to go Ertz against the 49ers. Sellers wants to know how you feel about Kamara in his first game back. I like him. I got him in some lineups today.
Yep. We drafted this guy for a reason. If we don't start him on his first day back, why did we even draft him? So you're starting him.
No Jamal Williams either. The guy we were worried about maybe, poaching some goal line carries from. Now we're still worried about Taysom Hill, but I like it. If Carr plays today, I like it a lot more for Alvin Kamara because I think that AC joint can still limit Carr a little bit here today. Rex says that was the question. Yeah, but you didn't tell us he had Waddle was the wide receiver. You just said would you bench O'Connell for a wide receiver in your Superflex? Give us the full picture here. Having a hard time benching anyone who I have in my start and flex spots. That super flex spot is open. If Carr is hurt, I can start Waddle. Dude, play Waddle. I'm telling you.
Play Waddle regardless.
Yeah, play Waddle regardless. He is definitely the guy you want in here today. What has Waddle done to earn not being played? He missed last week due to an injury, but he had like a ton of targets and catches in the first 2 weeks of the season. So, yeah. Michael here wants to know Gus, Garrett, Quentin, or Charbonnet today in the flex. Why am I blanking? What's Garrett? Why am I blanking on
Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson, maybe? Yeah.
That's
give us full names here, Michael. I'm not doing Garrett Wilson versus the Chiefs. I'm not playing anything Zach Wilson related. Probably Quentin Johnson. I don't think Gus Edwards is going to run against Cleveland's D, and then you have Charbonnet as the backup against the Giants. So maybe Quentin Johnson today, or it's probably Quentin Johnson. But obviously Garrett Wilson can make his own fantasy production. So
that's where I'm leaning to. It stinks because Garrett Wilson had such a promising trajectory before Aaron Rodgers got hurt, but we can't trust anything on the Jets offense. Like literally nobody on that offense.
No, it's very bad. It is very bad here. So so he's got Garrett Wilson confirmed. Yeah, you gotta go. Gonna have to go Quentin Johnson here. Guys, just approaching kickoff here at the Atlanta Jacksonville game. Obviously, if any news happens to break here in this game, any big plays happen, we'll obviously have that to break down for everybody here. Rex saying that biggest problem, Waddle actually hasn't done anything to be warranted to be benched, but to look at the rest of my starters and flex, I agree with you, but you have to look at sort of the ceiling projections of these players here, and Jalen Waddle is by far a higher quality of wide receiver. We are getting just spammed this week by bots. We haven't had this kind of bot issue in a while here. Sellers says he's got 30 DK lineups. How much time do I got this morning? Sellers, you list all your lineups here and I'll break them down for you. You let me know.
It's better than me breaking them down. I had to kick him out of the office this morning. I was like, hey, I have a show to do. He was still in here putting up lineups.
Putting all his lineups together. I don't blame you. That's why we have the Fantasy Alarm lineup generator. You go ahead and make 150 lineups with a click of a button. Get you guys ready for your NFL Sunday action here. Britt, I got to talk to you about some other the key storylines here for today. What's the one thing that you're looking to see here today?
Today is, I don't know if you heard, but official trademark NFL Revenge Week.
Okay.
I want to see if these revenge games actually pan out. And I talked about it in my show on Friday that there was a study done in the journal of such and such and such and such last year that revenge games actually are a thing, that players actually do play better statistically against their former teams than they do in any other game. So I want to see if that is actually true in the NFL or not. And we have so many revenge games today.
We do. We have a ton of revenge games. Obviously, we have Adam Thielen going up against Minnesota as one that I've sort of highlighted. Of course, Calvin Ridley is going up against Atlanta. That game just kicked off. Jacksonville's got the ball to begin. We got a couple carries early for Travis Etienne here, 2 for 8. So we'll see if Jacksonville continues to try to attack Atlanta on the ground. You talked about the Atlanta secondary being pretty tough, and Jacksonville's offense has been kind of sluggish to start. So maybe sort of getting that ground game going early will help kick things off. Etienne, the only offense, you just got to pass for a first down. So if you have Etienne in your lineups today, you're on pace for some good stuff today.
There we go. Love to see it.
We got to talk about some other things we got going on here at Fantasy Alarm. Got to remind everybody that go download the free BetterCast app. We'll have the BetterCast live for tonight's Sunday night football game here between the Jets and Chiefs, right? That's our Sunday night football game here. So you download the free BetterCast app. You can go ahead and answer some pregame questions when they're available live in the app. You can watch the games with myself, Britt's in there, Andrew Cooper, Howard Bender. Watch these games in real time and answer questions live during the game. And when you answer those questions correctly, you get points. You can then redeem some of those points for tickets that give you opportunities to get authentic NFL gear and signed collectibles. Again, the BetterCast app is free to download. You can scan the QR code there on the screen to download it today. Get part of the action with the BetterCast app. I've had a lot of fun in the BetterCast app, Brett.
It's super fun. And again, it's when you're competing for prizes against people, sellers and I look over at each other all the time. What place are you in? What place are you in? What'd you answer? Did you get it right? It's so fun. And so not only are you doing that with, your friends and family, you're doing that with everybody in the chat. And it's just so much fun. So highly recommend that you guys go download it and come hang out with us.
Yeah, 100% there. As well. And then I got to let everybody know that this is the last week for your 7-day free trial. So if you sign up today, go to fantasy.com/win or scan the QR code here on the screen. You get a 7-day free trial that will include all of the week 4 DFS content and through next week, week 5. So you're getting 2 for 1 here with our 7-day free trial, but this is the last week to get it. It goes away this week here. So sign up today, go to fantasy.com/win, scan the QR code here on the screen, get access to everything we do on site, all premium content is included, our premium Discord as well. Get access to all of us whenever you guys want to today over at Fantasy Alarm. So a couple of promos there to talk about. We got some more questions rolling in here. Rob wants to know Cam Akers or Roschon Johnson today?
Oh, that one's tough. Let's roll the dice on Roschon. Let's be weird.
Yeah, listen, I like that they said that Cam Akers will be active, but I am curious as to how active is active. I'll say that if it works out, now this is DraftKings, so he's talking about here. So if Akers has a good week this week, then you can confidently play him next week, but a little bit too risky here. If he gets 3 carries, we'll probably need like a fumble for Madison to cut himself in here. Jamie's in here. What's up, Jamie? Wants to know sit 2, Chase, Sutton, Pickens, Nakua, Cooper, Collins. Got to sit 2.
I'm sitting Amari Cooper and Nico Collins, I think. Again, we talked about Amari Cooper, that entire situation going on with the low over-under with Deshaun Watson's shoulder. Nico Collins, I just think with that offensive line being out, that CJ Stroud's just going to have a hard time moving the ball.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that they're going to have to throw a lot, but how successful can they be? And then when you're looking at the other options for you, I agree. I think Collins and Cooper are the way to go. Collins obviously struggled last week. And then Cooper, I'm just worried about the shoulder there for Deshaun Watson here. Dan wants to know, move someone to IR to use the extra bench spot for Quentin Johnson, Donald Palmer, maybe Marvin Mims. If you had to pick one for a bench spot here, who are you adding?
I think Quentin Johnston, just overall. Marvin Mims has done very well when he's been in the game, but they somehow still refuse to use him. And he's just not getting the snaps that we need to see out of somebody. Quentin Johnston is at least going to have the snaps. Parham looks good in the box score, but his usage and his box score has been only because of those 3 touchdowns that he's gotten. It's tough, but you've got to break it down a little bit further to see the entire picture. And that picture for me is Quentin Johnston. Yeah,
there's a stat out there. More than half of Donald Palmer's career catches have gone for touchdowns. So he is exclusively a red zone monster, which can be good in fantasy football and DFS, but it is obviously very inconsistent to constantly rely on touchdowns like that there. So Rex wants to know in DFS, higher confidence in Kittle or Thomas. So we have an expensive tight end and a not expensive tight end today. Which end of the spectrum are we going today?
I always try to go inexpensive tight end because tight end is such a wasteland. And Thomas against the Eagles, like you mentioned earlier, they're giving up the 3rd most fantasy points to the tight end position. Washington's going to be down. They're going to have to throw the ball quite a bit. So I really like Logan Thomas today.
Yeah, again, I talked about it enough. He's in everything I've done this week. He's very cheap in DFS. He's got a great matchup against Philly, though generally you don't think Philly is a good matchup, and I think that's why nobody's playing him. Again, I got him over on our draft percentage forecaster at like 2%. So if no one's playing Logan Thomas this week because they're worried about Philly, despite what the numbers are saying, now I know 3 weeks, maybe isn't enough sample size to fully give you a scope of how these teams are defending, but we know on the outside, the cornerbacks with Bradbury and Slay are shutting down wide receivers. Teams have to throw somewhere, and it seems like the middle of the field with the tight ends is the way that they're looking to go there. So I'm going to go save some money on Kittle today, especially with Debo back. If Debo was out and Ayuk was questionable, then maybe I could have gone Kittle here. But with everybody expected to play today, I have a little less confidence in Kittle here. Jamie's saying thank you, and Willie's saying good morning. Seller's saying he likes Parham in DFS today. Well, yeah, touchdown upside. If he comes back with 2 touchdowns today, I think it could be something against the Raiders for sure.
Totally. DFS is a different animal than benching and season-long fantasy. Sellers.
Yeah, don't you know? Don't you know? What are your thoughts on the change of the NFL gambling policies here, Britt? We get Jameson Williams now coming back a week early.
Yeah, I thought that the policy as it was before was a little bit vague. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Okay. Gambling on something else in a team facility when your team facility is considered like a hotel room when you're traveling, things like that is just a little bit excessive. If you're like connected to Wi-Fi, how do they monitor this? There's just so many inconsistencies. I like that they clarified it and kind of brought this down because as it stood, I thought that policy was way too harsh to begin with. Sure, if you're gambling on your own sport, your own team, yes, right. That's a big issue. If you're gambling on something different, especially when your stadiums are sponsored by all of these sites, you know, what message are we sending when, well, we're sponsored by them and we're getting a bunch of money, but you guys can't do it.
Right. So like there's a sports book in the stadium in Colorado. So I agree with you. I thought it was very weird. And I get it. Like a place of work, place of business, they all have rules, but even some of these places are becoming more relaxed. I used to work for a couple of companies that you could drink in the office, we had taps in the office, if you wanted to have a beer at work, more than okay, as long as you were being a responsible adult, they did not care. Right. Like, so, the way of the world is changing. So the fact that these guys couldn't just like sit in their car parking lot and like make a bet or sit in the locker room and make a bet on a different sport, to me felt a little weird. I get it. But it's legalized. Like you said, some of these teams are being sponsored. Some of the stadiums are being sponsored. Now, if you bet on your own team, then sure. You bet on the league, then sure. Big no. And I actually told Bender, I think that should be a 1 strike and out policy. I don't think this should be a 1 year, 2 year, then permanent suspension. That should just be an ultimate no. You do not bet on the NFL. There are players that I am sure that are on the bottom of rosters that will take the 1 year ban, to get suspended if it means a big payday and a bet. But if you ban them for life, they may think about their choices a little bit more, right? And that goes for some of the other star players or players that are considering, betting a little bit, they're on their own sport. So I would have made the punishment for betting on the NFL a little bit harsher than what they have it on, just to kind of really deter the idea that players may still do that. But everything else looks pretty good there. Sellers wants to know, is Jacksonville game on TV? It's on ESPN Plus. So if you got ESPN Plus, you can go watch that game here. Both drives have stalled out. Maybe I don't think Atlanta's going to go for it. It's 4th and 1 on their own 16. Jacksonville was moving the ball around midfield. They end up stalling out. Trevor Lawrence 2 for 8. Travis Etienne 2 for 8. Etienne's also got a catch for 5. Ritter's 1 for 1, a catch to Bijan for 8 yards. Tyler Algiers got 2 yards. So as exciting of an offensive battle as we thought this one would be, no team doing anything on their first drives here. But again, if any big plays happen, if any big news happens in these games, of course, we will bring that to you. But so far, about 9 minutes left in the first quarter, absolutely nothing is happening in Atlanta, Jacksonville here this week. So we'll see if anything comes from that. But when it comes to Jameson Williams, though, what are your initial thoughts? I've had some questions on Twitter. Coop and I have kind of gone back a little bit on the value of the current wide receivers on Detroit now, and then what we should expect from Jameson Williams coming out of the gate here. Is he somebody that you're thinking immediately steps into this like full-time snap share big role? Do you think they ease him in? What are your thoughts there on this one?
So we haven't really seen a lot from Jameson Williams, right? We saw that one long catch, and that was it. And yes, he played for Alabama, and he was really good at Alabama. But other than that, we haven't seen anything. And then his fights during practice in the off season, things like that. I don't necessarily know that he's going to make a big impact as soon as he starts,
Right.
especially as good as Sam Laporta has looked. I mean, nobody's taken targets away from him to give them to Jameson Williams. So I don't think that he's going to have as big of an impact on that offense that we might necessarily think.
Yeah, I think that's how I felt about it. We had questions on, do we drop Josh Reynolds? What do we do with Josh Reynolds? It's like, well, you keep Josh Reynolds. If you have Jameson Williams and Josh Reynolds, great. See how it plays out. If you need to pick up because Jameson Williams is there, still going to hold on to Josh Reynolds. Reynolds is playing like 80% of the offensive snaps. He's the number 2 wide receiver on that team. There's a period of time where he was the leading receiver on that team. Obviously, we've seen St. Brown kind of take that over the last couple of weeks here, but who's to say that Jameson Williams doesn't come in and just take the 45-50% snap share that Marvin Jones has, right? And you see Reynolds and St. Brown still be the top 2 guys there, or he takes the 30% share that Cleve Freeman has initially and works his way in here, because you're right, we haven't seen him play a lot there. So I'm not willing to move off of Reynolds here yet in this offense for Detroit. I'm fine, obviously, rostering or playing Jameson Williams, but we just haven't seen enough out of him to fully trust that one yet here. So, we'll see. We'll see how it plays. I'm curious if we get any words on the coaching staff and how they plan on making that one work here. So, Rex kind of clarifying a little bit, looking to diversify his GBPs between the Kittle or Thomas. Who do you think I should have more exposure to?
I mean, depends on how many, but I think you still go Thomas. It's San Francisco is such a big favorite in this game. I can see them completely just playing their backups. Might end up seeing just whoever their backups are in that backfield. Right? And I don't think that he's going to get a ton of work. So that's why I'm leaning Thomas. And he's cheaper. Again, tight end is a wasteland. Why are you spending up on tight end when half the time they don't pan out? Go for that low salary dart throw and just hope that it pans out.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see. I'm trying to see if we get clarity on some of these situations here. Rappaport saying it still looks like it's going to be Derek Carr. I saw someone retweet that maybe Jameis was starting, but that was one of those funny accounts there, Britt. So do we have the official news on the Carr situation?
So this was from Jordan Schultz.
Okay.
Who is
pretty in tune here. Yeah, for sure.
It was Fantasy Life that retweeted it or sent out the notification. But it looks like that tweet has been deleted.
Yeah,
so there's some drama.
He might have been duped by a fake account there as well. So
yeah.
Rap's still saying it looks like Carr, barring his pregame workout here. So we'll see what happens there in that situation. Again, I would like Carr to be the quarterback because I have some exposure to the Alvin Kamara receptions prop. And Jameis Winston is not a check down king, but Derek Carr certainly can be, especially if that shoulder is hurt here today. So I think that's a direction I'd be looking to go here for sure. What are your thoughts here with the Kyler Murray situation? Not expected to come off the pup. They say he's still a few weeks away. Do you think we see Kyler Murray actually play a game for the Cardinals this year?
No, I didn't expect him to come back at all this season. And everybody in the offseason saying, well, he's running on a treadmill. He's working out. And I was like, he suffered that injury in the back half of last season. He's a mobile quarterback.
Right.
They're not going to rush him back out there, especially when they have the lowest projected win total in the entire NFL. They're looking to maybe move on from him, I think, and trade him. If they're tanking for Caleb, which I think that they are, why risk it? Why risk putting him out there, getting him hurt if I mean, they might put him out there for 1 game, 2
Just a
games,
showcase.
maybe just to be like, "Hey, he's healthy. Look at him.
Yeah.
Let's move him." Like, but that's gonna be it. There's not gonna be any substantive playing time that he gets this season.
Yeah, I think that maybe the week before the trade deadline, they give him a go and see like, hey, like he's healthy. If anybody wants a quarterback, come send us some draft picks for him. But even at this point, I'm sure that he's not going to go for a high draft pick. They just want him off the books and to get himself ready to go. They need to start winning games though if they want Caleb Williams. They can't be beating Dallas, right?
Shut up, John.
gotta be losing football games. Can't be nearly beating up on the NFC East here. That would have been detrimental to their prospects for that one for sure. Got a couple of names here that we know are returning for action today: Anthony Richardson, Logan Thomas, Bryce Young, Jalen Waddle. Do you have them available in your lineups here today? Definitely plug them in. I'm less bullish on Bryce Young, obviously. Justice Hill's supposed to play today. I still think Gus Edwards is the guy that leads that backfield, but not a great spot against the Cleveland Browns. And then some guys we know are out today. Austin Eckler, Zay Jones, obviously that game being played right now. Irv Smith is going to be out for the Bengals this week. Treylon Burks is out today for the Titans. We know that Hopkins is also a little bit banged up. Do you think Chigakonko gets off the schneid here today?
I mean, he should, right? But that Titans offense to me just has not been efficient at all. And on my show on Friday, I talked about it's over now. And Chigakonko was one of the guys that you can just cut from your roster because their offensive line is so bad. The play of Ryan Tannehill and just the decision-making of Ryan Tannehill is absolutely horrendous. I don't care that it's a plus matchup really for him. I just, that entire offense is dead to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's not a lot to like. I would like to see Will Levis in there sooner rather than later just to see. We know what that offense looks like with Ryan Tannehill. So let's just see what Will. You use the was it the 6th overall pick on him or something like that, right? Like let's just see what
in the second round.
Oh, second. All right. They took him the second round. Right. So let's just see what they got going on there with him there. And then you have both OBJ and Bateman are out. I saw someone in our Discord ask if Nelson Aguilar was a viable DFS punt today. I don't think,
and I've harped on this the entire show, I don't think that anybody from that game is viable today.
Yeah.
That low over under just really keeps me away from it. Cleveland's defense has been so good. And I don't trust anybody to make plays for Baltimore. I can't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be going on there either. Again, Nelson Aguilar obviously had the big week a couple weeks ago, which I think people are kind of going in on him here, but it feels like if they're going to throw to anybody, it'd be a Flowers and Andrews game here. I think Chase Claypool is a healthy scratch. Again, I'm not shocked given his effort issues and then his comments. The quarterback can say the coaching, but Claypool can't say the coaching because he's not good enough, at least not yet. We'll see how long he remains a member of the Bears. This could certainly be a good ploy for him just to get cut or traded or something like that, so he can go find up somewhere, because I'm sure another team will pick him up and maybe rejuvenate him a little bit. But not a great spot there for him.
I heard the Panthers are in the market for a wide receiver. Anybody know if DJ Moore is available?
I mean, you would think, right? Adam Thielen's looked great. I mean, imagine what a faster DJ Moore would look like in that offense.
Right.
DFS today, Chase or Allen. That's tough. I love the prospects of the Bengals passing offense going up against Tennessee, but obviously Joe Burrow's kind of looked like garbage. Chase obviously had the big week last week. T. Higgins had the big week the week before that, but Keenan Allen's been good the entire time, and so is Justin Herbert. So I'm going to lean Allen over Chase today.
I'm going to go Chase. I think maybe people are a little bit off on him, and just I haven't looked at the rostership percentages, but I don't know. My answer is whoever is less rostered.
Chase is the less rostered play than Allen. Allen is the chalkiest wide receiver on the board. Britt, we do have some breaking news. Revenge game narrative in full effect. 30-yard touchdown catch by Calvin Ridley.
Let's go.
So we have a score here in the Jacksonville game. Jacksonville now up 7-0. They went for it on fourth and 1. We got a first down out of that one from Christian Kirk, and then followed up by a Trevor Lawrence 30-yard touchdown pass to Calvin Ridley. So revenge game tickets can cash. Chalk those for everybody who has them. And now maybe we'll see Atlanta have to throw the football here. So
now I need to go dance around my living room. I'm so stoked.
Listen, I haven't really in a lot of leagues. You and I talked a lot about that. I was super bullish on him. Love the way he got off in week 1. I was getting ready to victory lap. Like I told you all, like he's ready to go. I did not expect to see the Jacksonville offense stumble the way it had at home the previous 2 weeks against Kansas City and then Houston. Colby Conway's been trying to tell me the Houston pass defense has been pretty good for a few years, and I just like ignore him because it's Houston, but maybe they are. Maybe they do actually have a pretty good pass defense. But Atlanta getting torched there by Ridley felt like it was a destiny. So we'll see if the revenge game narratives can continue on through. If we do get a Jameis Winston starting against Tampa Bay, we know Adam Thielen's going up against Minnesota here. Bender said you could build an entire DFS lineup, a revenge game this week, except for like your flex, and put it out there. So we'll see if he throws that in the playbook or not.
Yeah, I was very upset that Odell Beckham isn't starting because that was my flex revenge against the Browns. And then it turned into McCole Hardman against the Chiefs. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to work out.
Yeah, less fun. Yeah.
Less
fun for sure there. So, guys, once again, if you're tuning in here, appreciate all of you. You can give us a like and subscribe to the channel here. We have shows all week long. You can catch Britt's Fantasy Blitz on Friday. We have Alarm Fantasy Football Tuesday through Thursday, I think it is. Quick Out Fantasy Football on Wednesday. The Lightning Round Fantasy Football Show is on Tuesday as well. Coop's Corner or Coop's Fantasy Fiasco is on Mondays and Fridays. Then, of course, on Sundays, we have a few different live streams. Britt and myself are here 9 to 10. Then you go to Sirius XM. You listen to Bender and Coop from 10 to 11. Then you come right back here at 11 o'clock. Myself and Andrew Cooper take you till 12 o'clock Eastern time to get you all ready with the updated inactives, news, and storylines from the day, getting you all ready for week 4. I can't stress enough to check out the BetterCast app. It's free to download, free to play. Get ready for tonight's Sunday night football game between the Chiefs and the Jets. You'll get those pregame questions loaded in soon. You can answer those and get you ready to win some tickets where you can redeem those for authentic gear and prizes here. Britt, any final words for the people at home before we sign off for the morning?
I just hope everybody wins all your leagues and that everybody has a great day.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I hope everybody has a good day as well. Hang with us. Like I said, go listen to Bender and Coop. Stay right here. Hit that bookmark, hit that alarm. Come back with us at 11 o'clock. We'll talk to you then.